Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and those who know better. This is Derpy here, back with another Battle Pirates raid stream. Welcome to the raid warm-up, and I'm going to go ahead and get started and just go through some targets and see what's going on. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to go through the targets from the lower ones up to the higher ones and just see what's going on. I apologize for any sort of extra screens you may have seen. I was doing my best to keep those hidden, but my recorder is sometimes a little bit finicky. I'm going to hit the, like I said, the 60-62 first, even though those might be old, then go through the 90-91, which may be the same as last raid, may be different, and then through the new stuff. I will primarily be using my fleet of Mutineers as opposed to the free Kixeye one. There's a few changes that I would generally recommend making to that one, just to keep that in mind. Let's just go ahead and take my right fleet out and see what's happening. I haven't bothered to upgrade this one all the way up to X1 or anything like that, so this should be a fairly average build, although I have tweaked it just a little bit to see how I can do better against various targets here. Looking in the target menu, let's just go ahead and hit a 60 and a 61. Looks like they might not have spawned yet, so that might be an issue. But when they do spawn, we'll get things out of here. And while we're doing that, I might go to base and get my Mutineer fleet out and please make sure everything's set up in the correct slots. I didn't quite get enough uranium, etc., all that I needed for the raid. Hopefully I won't need to roll too many crews because I don't have my crews filled up while I do have my uranium filled up. I did grab most of my resources, and still looks like I don't have the Gladius upgrade tokens. I was supposed to have gotten them. Players who already built a Gladius fleet were supposed to have already built a Mutineer fleet, we're supposed to have gotten them, but some of us didn't. I do have a support ticket in about that. And this is the free fleet of Mutineers that Kixeye gave us right here. It's a fairly good build and isn't bad whatsoever. The armor they're using here, this X armor, is actually not that great. It will be better to use the Z2 explosive armor here, and in most cases for the average player, the Z2 CT armor is better. Agility System 4 could easily be Guidance Core number 3, it doesn't matter. And then their Open Water Warfare battery could be the Impact Overdrive battery that we have from various TLCs. Most people who are on top of their game have 10 or 15 of those things already. But this build is really good. Even at U0, you should be able to do the S targets, the 124, 122 with them. Now there's Hefe saying no tokens for Derpy, yep. Well, let's go ahead and find a 60-62 and get this party on the roll. That's not the phrase, but you know what I meant. Now, I still have some map targets that are spawning around here, which haven't gone away quite yet. Hopefully the 60 set will actually spawn. And you will notice in this raid they did remove the 40s, the 40, 42, the C sets. They're useless and no one should hit them anyway because they gave out like 5,000 points. So it's not really a big loss in my opinion. It's whatever. I'm not sure anyone actually hit the C targets anyway, and no one really would in this raid, considering we all have a free fleet to hit the top targets. So that's a good move in my mind. Reduces map clutter a little bit, although not by that much. And there was no reason to have those in the raid anyway. Now you shouldn't be able to hit down with your Mutineer on the 60 set because it is limited to a tier 8. So you can't just auto it all day with your Mutineer for free repair, like some people used to do, split up one ship, etc. Okay, level 60, Reaver Junk Bay, let's see what's going on here. Probably something we've seen before, but always good to revisit it. And I have tweaked my build just a little bit here. And looks like this is the target from Pillage, the 133 or whatever it was. So what you want to do for this target is start out, group your ships up along the top right, and then move down towards the bottom ship, and just before it shoots at you, you're going to turn like this, so you're moving away from its projectile, and its projectile misses you, is the idea behind here. And if you can use your junk jets to finish it off a little bit, that would be ideal. Always make sure to shift click the Hell Ray so you actually kill those and do the most damage to them. And at this point you can see with no crew, I have gone through here and I have taken no damage so far. That will not last for the entire target, I'm sure, because I'm going to take some at some point from these red torpedoes, which I already have. You can see in the bottom right or the top left, I do have some damage taken on my fleet, but not really a big deal here. I do have the Advanced Concussive Payload 3, whatever it is called, special refitted onto my, or the Liberty Belt, excuse me, is refitted onto my Riots, is a Mutineer tech, just to have them do slightly better, so the damage may be a little bit higher, 10-20% higher than most people have, but then again, I'm not at X1, so there we go. Target is really easy to complete, really short time to actually do this, but if you have to hit targets for 20,000 points, and even with the set payout averages up to 40,000, you are not going to get a whole lot, not going to have a lot of fun time. And yes, I am streaming the raid from alpha, which means it has already started like 3 minutes ago, whereas if you're in beta, Lipson, Delta, etc., the raid won't have started yet for you. So you're getting a sneak peek, a sneak preview at this thing. 20 minutes damage from the level 60. I'll do my thoughts on this target while I'm moving to the next one. I think it's an okay target. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not particularly boring, isn't particularly fun. There's just one way to hit it, and you could auto it if you wanted to. It's an average target at best. But, you know, average, no complaints. That's probably better than what we're going to see for the top level targets. Level 62 without repairing, so I am at 20 minutes 45 seconds. And I'm going to kill these first 2 Reaver Scouts at the top just by dancing around them, trying to stay about max range so their concussive damage, which is dumbfire, doesn't do too much damage to me, and that's a really easy thing to go down. Now for the next ones, I'm going to make sure to just target this Hellray at the very front of it and move around so that it doesn't start moving, because this thing can stay stopped and won't start charging at you if you stay about max distance from it, and it should die before, just after it gets that second volley off. These next 2, I'm going to let it shoot at me once, and then I probably could have done that a little bit better, but I'm going to pull it towards the enemy little mines here if it doesn't die already naturally, and this will result in the points payout from the target being reduced a little bit because I'm not doing the same damage, but that doesn't matter because I'm not hitting these things for the points. And the target set payout is more than enough to hit these if you were just grinding these out for yourself. I'd rather take lower damage and get fewer points than higher damage and more points, at least with the small numbers you're going to get here. Next, Hell right there is down, and now we're going to move to the top of the target, take down this next stuff. And Hellwraith first, as usual. Shift click it if you can. Sometimes I'm lazy and I don't, and that will go down fairly quickly. Next Hellwraith again, and at this point the pancake's going to start firing at me, so you need to start moving away from this thing to avoid this special smart torpedo, otherwise it will hurt. Notice how I maneuver around that. After hitting a few hundred of these targets, probably of this cycle, it becomes instinctive to dodge around that torpedo. And the Gales I do have on here with the 1 Gale Defense System 4, as well as the special I have, which increases anti-mortar. It is good enough so that the Gales can shoot down all of these enemy little mortars from this pancake. Not that this is the pancake ship, rather. This is just the Reaver Hulk. Targeting this one, try and stay max range so those rockets don't fire at you too much, and kill it pretty easily. Hopefully it doesn't get away there. Use the junk jets if at all possible. Okay, that pancake's down, or the Hulk's down rather, and another 2 Reaver Scouts gonna go down, and now we have 2 more left in the target. These will go down pretty easily, 2 more right here, then 3 more down on this cluster right here. Couldn't see that one. And again, this is an old target. I'll do my thoughts on it before I'm even done with it. It is a little bit tedious to drive, not too bad. It's impossible to auto with any sort of actual effective results, and it's okay for a driving target. If you drive your ass off, might be instant repair, might not be. It probably is too hard for the average player who still is using riots. At least that's my thoughts. I wish Kixeye would, instead of just moving the targets and calling the 120, the 82, and then the 62, why don't you actually make the targets a little bit easier by making the ships slower or nerfing the projectile speed on the enemy ships or something like that. Make those ships slightly worse or something so it's easier for lower levels, not just the same target with reduced points and a reduced number. That's just sort of my thoughts on that thing. But overall, the target's okay. I'm not going to hit another one of those this entire raid because I have more important things to do, like the Zealot targets coming up right next here. And damage taken looks like it's 10 minutes damage on that target because it already had 20 minutes on the previous one. So that would be a pretty good result, and you can see I did not get the full payout because, again, I did have the mines kill something. I'll recall that and start repairing. or I won't even really bother, and we're going to hit the 90. Now, I'm unsure if this is going to be a new thing or an old thing, because we have seen various different, the target number is different than it was before. I believe last rate it was the 80 and the 82, now it's the 90 and the 91. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but you could bring your Pegasus fleet into this one too if you wanted to, I believe. Not that that's a good idea, I don't think it would last very long. Okay, I don't remember this. Oh yeah, I do. This was a target in the full auto this one, just auto this target. This was one of them in the second raid in this cycle, if I'm remembering correctly. You could literally auto this target better than you could drive it. At least that's what I found. Whenever I tried to drive this target, I ended up taking more damage with my Zealot fleet. I have no clue why. Maybe I wasn't stacking up. Maybe I was running into the splash too much. But autoing this target seemed to be the better way to go when it was the raid target, so it should still be pretty good now. And my Zealot fleet is a little bit better than it was before. This fleet, my flagship is X1, then I have one at U3, and the rest are at U2. So I just that one ship I need to get up to X1, and it will be a completely finished fleet. But I'm not really bothered with that too much because we don't really have shipyard time to spend on old things. This is just autoing the target completely now, and damage taken still looks really low, and it might even be below 25 minutes, so instant repair for this target. So I guess you could auto the 90, and if you have an upgraded fleet, or if you want to spend the time driving and have a lower level fleet, or okay taking more damage, you could auto the 90, 91 and take a fairly low amount of damage. Now, Kixeye has done the same thing they've done with the previous, past umpteen raid cycles, where the 90, 91 are in a set with the much higher target, the 806 in this case, but the higher target isn't actually that good to hit, and you don't get the set payout, which is even really small. You don't even get the payout unless you hit all three of these targets. So what I would recommend people do is if you have a Zealot fleet and want to use it, just go out, hit the 90 and nothing else. Just do those all day, every day, and you can get a fair number of points just by doing that, especially if you spend the time to repair in 2 or 3 minutes of dock time to actually repair this ship. If you do that every time, you can get a fair number of points. You won't get any bonus points for the set completion, but it really shouldn't matter because those points are so low. So this is the perfect auto target. It will depend on the damage I end up actually getting here. Let's check, and you'll see that damage is more corrosive from splash because I stopped moving and all that than penetrative, and that's 18 minutes damage. So you can auto these targets, at least I can auto these targets with my fleet all day, every day, and complete my raid just by autoing the 90s. I would have to go back to dock and repair in dock every single time, which is not great. I mean, that's kind of bad. And at 100,000 points per target, you'd have to, and if you wanted 50 million, you'd have to hit literally 500 targets. So that's about 80 targets a day. If you wanted to do that, that would give you 56 million points over a 6-day raid. That would be a lot of targets to hit a day, but it's possible, at least with this upgraded fleet. With a less upgraded fleet, you are going to take more damage, and you might end up having to spend some dock time repairing. But there's an option here for you if you really want to. I don't think I have the patience to do that. If a particular player if you really wanted to do the same repetitive task over and over and over, then you could. It's not bad. I like that this target is in there. I think it's an okay one to actually have in this raid, although, again, not for me, and it is still a viable option for your Zealots if you do have the Mutineer that you built, the one that's free, whatever. If that's upgrading, refitting, damaged, it's possible to use your Zealot fleet. If you want to do something a little bit different, a little bit more fun, and some variation, you can do that too. The point payout is still too low to do that repeatedly, which is as expected as Kixeye has had those in the lower sets. Let's move on to the 91 Zealot target. I'm expecting this to be the driving target from that same raid. My memory is not quite good enough to come up with the exact numbers, the exact raids, or even the months at this point of when these targets were originally offered. And I will be busting out my Mutineers after I complete this set, just so everyone knows I'm going lowest to highest. Okay, looks like this target depends on where you enter, so I'm going to retreat real quickly before anything shoots at me and enter about just below 3 o'clock, about 4:20. That seems to be the best place to enter on this particular target set. I'm going to do this just out of memory, and I'm going to try to remember what I was doing. I believe I was taking out the drones fairly quickly. You could even sort of semi-auto this target by driving the ships and then auto the buildings. When this was a raid target, it could get fairly low and could almost be instant repair for these things. I'm going to just drive around the right side of this island here, kill some of these turrets, and if you can target the purple thing first, the turrets will go down more quickly. So stacked up, and then I'm going to target the drone spawning mothership, the chameleon, or whatever we were calling this. Was this the warbird carrier? That was it. Target that, shoot it out, and maybe shift over to a building, get some drone splash damage out here, so those things don't do too much. Now that the first warbird is down, I'm going to sneak through on this Valkyrie carrier, take that out in a few volleys, and sneak around. It looks like it got a shot off at me, so that wasn't great. And sneak around for the next warbird. Once this is down, I'm going to just retreat back, try and get away from everything else so that fewer things are shooting at me at one time. Because I have the luxury to do that now, there's no rush for me to complete the target. I can go nice and easy and kill some of these Valkyries, etc. And then focus on the island platforms. Try and stay max range from these things because they will shoot at you if you do get too close. It's not like the razor edge needle that you need to go through with, say, the Hellwraith raids, but it is a fairly small distance you need to go. Going to try and outrange most things here if possible, and the Halo missiles are the big threat in this target. Okay, shooting at the random purple building again, and then the Halo missiles first, or those arc missiles, I don't quite remember. These are Halo missiles, so shooting at that, and then outrange the little scatter turrets, the Chimera scattergun turrets that they look like. And then moving on to next, the 6 Halo missiles all clustered up here, and there is one of these short-range turrets hiding there in the building in the arc behind that, so be careful about this one. It could get you with a few shots. Now, taking a few shots from various short-range turrets here won't matter too much. There really isn't a ton of damage from these things, but if you want instant repair, which, yeah, I'm just messed up there. I'm not very good at getting those ones unless I get the patience down and I've hit it a few times in a row. Let's swing around wide here so this red ring doesn't kill me. These things do pretty massive penetrative damage if you're there for more than a few seconds. They do start to add up and will start hurting. My drones are being much more effective here. I have 3 of them and then the bonus from the X1 for the flagship. So they're actually doing a lot better. I can almost drive this target differently than before. I think I do have a remote Raiders crew even saved up here, so it shouldn't be too bad. At least if I wanted to hit the 806, which you'll see next, and do a few of those all in a row, it would be possible for me to do that. Although I'm not really sure I want to waste a remote Raiders crew, I'll probably just save it for another 3 or 4 years until we get another drone crew of any sort. Unless the Zealot comes back in any sort of special event, which, it probably won't. It will have its run in Pillage next, so that will be the next useful thing. I might just save it for that, or I might use it this raid. I'm not really sure how many of the 80 or the 90s set, rather. They're not having to be the 80s, it's the 90s these days. Not sure why. I'm not sure if I'll do that anymore. My bets on this damage are 16 minutes for this target. That's what I think I'm going to get by looking at the damage taken. See if that drops down whatsoever. How good I am at predicting damage. About even, corrosive and penetrative, happy with that. And 14 minutes damage. Okay, I was wrong. I got 16 minutes. Someone sue me. And I guess you do get Dissolver Scatterguns, so there's that. Let's repair this thing, then hit the 806, which should be a lot higher damage. Long loading screen here, see what gets through, and you get a sneak peek at my new base layout. I might be making some sort of fun video on that. I've been changing it a few times, and its current exact design has never been beaten, although it was beaten twice, both of which are problems that I fixed with this thing. But that's a different story and a different time, different day. Let's just repair my Zealots and then bring out the 806, and after that you can see my Mutineers. I'll go through those targets probably a few times and just see what kind of results I'm getting from that. Maybe a few times, maybe not. We'll see how much time we have. I don't want to go too much longer than an hour. But that's the new thing, so that's what people want to see. So I definitely will be showing some Mutineer targets. There should just be a repair all button. If it's under 25 minutes, just let me fix everything. Don't make me click so many times. Although I guess I just used 1 coin. That's a revenue source for Kixeye, right? Okay, let's find an 806. I'm expecting this to be the, or yeah, 806. Expecting it, I don't remember what it should be. Should it be the X target from the Zealot raid or the top S target? I can't quite remember. Is it going to be the co-op one or not? I think it's going to be the figure 8 one, if that makes sense. We'll see if it's the figure 8 one or the wave spawning one. Oh, it looks like it's the wave spawning one because it's co-op. That's right. This might be kind of painful. Yeah, remote raider, you know, might make this instant repair, but I don't want to waste a remote raider crew on this one. Yep, it's the wave spawning one, and again, the target starts before I can even get in there, so that's not a good sign. Going to kill the first, I've already killed the first on auto, the first warbird carrier. Now I'm going to loop around the whole left side of the target and just take out a few islands on the way, probably leave up a few of these warehouses just so things can stay there and the target won't end until I want it to. Leave up a few of these warehouses, and I'm going around the top to kill the next warbird carrier, which should be around here somewhere. Sometimes it's off to the right a little bit more if you enter more on the left. It seems to be opposite from where you do enter. So I'm going to kill this island here. This one shouldn't do any damage to me whatsoever because it has all these short range things, but the drones here are kind of annoying. So I should be able to kill all these short range turrets, and then my anti-missiles are good enough to shoot down all of the missiles from the sentinels. I did leave one warehouse on the island, so that's good, because all these yellow things with a priority thing are required to end the target, just as an FYI, although most of you, I believe, would already know that. Another wave is spawned in here. I'm going to go ahead and kill that. And do a little turn. Take down the Atlas carrier before it does too much damage to me. Then I'm going to work on more of these right side islands, etc. Hopefully the other waves don't start doing too much damage as they spawn in, because they can get quite a few ships crowded at once here. I'm going to try to even have the Atlas carriers stack up a tiny bit so they can do, maybe I can do some splash damage to them, because two at once here means I have half the shots total, take less damage from these things. Great, little spin, and you can outrun a lot of the splash damage if you just keep moving at full frenzy. People who put D5 EV armor are even doing better than that because they are going more quickly. Most of the things are dead now except for a few random warehouses, Atlas carriers, and the core. I'm going to get into the core next, hopefully try and keep moving a little bit for these Atlas carriers. And great, take out this short range. Come on. And then I need to target these purple things and titanium extractors or whatever they're actually called. And take those out. Atlas carrier should go down. Again, try and spin, do a couple moves to reduce the splash damage taken, and shoot these titanium extractors. That means your damage is going to increase, you know, because those provide resistances, survival, whatever you want to call it, to these enemy turrets. Coding wise, I would assume they still operate on a resistance scale. And most things, come on, center is down. Great. Now it's time to kill these Valkyrie carriers and Atlas cruisers coming in, or Atlas carriers and Valkyrie cruisers, whichever way you want to talk about them. I guess it's the PT boats I used to call the PT cruisers. And you have to kill these things pretty quickly because another wave is spawning in a little bit earlier than that. So you can't get overwhelmed with too many things at one time here. If you're not careful, like another 2 Valkyrie carriers, if I was 30 seconds later to this spot, would spawn in right on top of me, and that would be very sad. I'm getting a little bit of lag in this target when waves do spawn in. That's what I remember having last time. At this point, there's only this one warehouse left. If I did kill that, the target would end. I want to do it for the whole target and getting the points for it, not the completion bonus. I want to get more points for dealing damage, just because it's fairly low completion bonus for this set. It's like 100,000, whereas this target can pay out up to 200,000 points. Here's the double stack Valkyrie carrier spawning in, and I took a little bit of damage there. You can see some lag there as I spawn in, or as the enemy waves spawn in, maybe as my drones spawn. If your drones aren't spawning, by the way, just press S. That's the key to put them on auto. S as in scorpion, spider, snake, etc. Sahara, that should work. I don't want my drones to kill that yet, moving away, and taking out more of these Valkyrie carriers, again for max points. Looks like damage isn't horrible from this target, even though it is taking a while. And I will be trying the Mutineer targets up next after this one. Maybe with my fleet, maybe with the Kix fleet, we'll have to see. But Mutineer targets are coming up next. Here is the Valkyrie. Take that thing down again here, and bam. Okay, one at the top. Let's go around the right of this island. I gotta show all the targets to everybody, you know? What if your zealots turn out to be useful? As they are in, I believe they're going to be in the 90. Just the 90. Not the 91, not the 806. Just use them in the 90 on auto if you want, and you have something repairing it and you want to or need to play. Want to get points, need to get points, however you want to phrase it. Zealots, especially if upgraded, are a great option for the 90. Just auto those if you want to, repair and base. They're probably going to be instant repair, whereas the Mutineer target, Mutineer fleet at U0 would probably not. And I did do the math, I don't know how many of you saw. X1 Mutineer fleet is about twice as good as a U0 Mutineer fleet. Just accounting for survival, it's not quite twice as good, but if you account for other things such as damage, etc., it might even get up to about 3 times as good, which is pretty powerful, pretty distinctive to say the least. Like, I want my fleet to be 3 times as good as the U01. Well, there we go. The 806 is down. I wish they had included a different target than this one, and I wish they either increase the completion bonus or don't even include this target. The 506, etc., whatever that one was, would be better to have in this raid, in my opinion. And the set bonus problem I'm talking about, I'm not sure if it really is a problem. The set bonus, with the A set, is the same as it has been frequently. You have to hit all 3 targets for the set bonus, and the set bonus is the same as one of these lower targets. So what I recommend is just take your lower target and hit this one, the 90 or 91, whichever one's more fun, least damage. Hit that one all the time, avoid the 806 completely. I didn't even read out the repair duration on that one. I should have done that. Probably about an hour. I think my best that raid was like 45 minutes. Now it's time for the Mutineers. Well, 41 minutes damage on that target. Not bad, right? Okay, here is my Mutineer fleet. I'll show you that in the build first, etc. Just as soon as I put everything in the correct slots. And, yep, here we go. You can see all my random interceptors and Mutineers all over the place. This is my standard build that I'm running. I've refitted things to make it a little bit simpler since then. Just 9 Freedom Fist, 1 Cormorant, 3 concussive armors, 1 X armor, and this has the new ones that added the explosive damage. Then the specials are the same on everything. The better engine reef rider, impact overdrive, the signal amplification armor for the survival only, as well as, I guess, there's no benefits to any, I guess countermeasure range is nice, but not needed. Liberty Belt, which is just advanced concussive payload 4, guidance climber 3, and then full metal casing for the criticals. And I have 1 ship at U2, the 2 middle 2 are up to U3, flagship is U3, and the 5th one is X1. Now the flagship and the 5th are built differently, they're built like this. The armor is just changed around to give them more evade, because I think evade's pretty important on these things, especially on ships 1 and 5, which tend to get hit more often. Let's not use a crew, let's go out and let's hit the 124 and see what's going on. This should be the auto target. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully there's no glitch, etc. that anyone's found. And you can use your riots in this one too if you want to. So there you go. And the timer countdown to start is 60 seconds, which is large. I wish it was lower for the 124 and higher for the 126 / the 900, whatever the hell you're calling it, 909. But this will give you time to load the target, maybe look around, maybe have, if you crash, you can come back, which is good. This is a really good change. I wish it was just had said starts in. I wish they changed this around a little bit, but that's a different topic. Just an auto attack and a normal attack button or something. Looks like I'm going to have to kill the Juggernaut X's and then stay in range of the ammo carriers. Let's see what we can't do. They're not even moving. Well, that's no fun. Your target's not even... I'm just going to auto this one. Your target's not even moving. Come on. Okay, now it starts moving when I get close. I guess there's some element of skill involved in that. I'm just going to sit here and blast it. And the drones didn't even get a shot off. The worry is if you get too close with your Mutineer to a fleet, a ship, it might move towards you too quickly and you might take some damage from the drones spawning in or something. So I guess I'm going to drive this one. Moving off on the left side, stay close enough in the ammo carrier range. Hopefully it doesn't drive towards me too quickly. I think I have enough upgrades that it won't matter and I can kill the whole thing before the drones start spawning and shooting at me. And you can't see anything with the projectile explosions on when I'm doing this. Let's leave that that ammo carrier up, just in case we need it for something. And the Juggernaut X appears to be turning towards me, but again, drones are dying instantly as they spawn, and I'm far enough away it's not an issue. This one might be tricky. I'm going to have to run away from this one a little bit here. And so the drones just don't do damage. And look at that. Well, now I'm just going to auto it for the ammo carriers. Hopefully they don't get quite too close. I'm driving a little bit. So the ammo carriers don't get too close. They tend to have, they have a short range weapon which really never fires, or rarely fires, I should say, which is not a big deal whatsoever. It's just an extra damage you might take if you're unlucky. Let's see what ships actually got hit by this one. Ship number 1, my flagship, got hit a bit. Ship number 2 got hit a whole lot. That is an insane amount of damage. And that's it. So why did ship 2 get so much? I'm not sure. But, yeah, there we go. Well, hey, there's Bullyacker, Mikey the Bull. On your famous statue. Where you were definitely sober, of course. Anyway, back to the game. Damage taken 100% concussive, and I was able to evade / use countermeasures against a whole bunch of that, which was great, and damage enemy was concussive and explosive. But all this concussive damage, I'm not sure how much I'm actually taking. There's 14 minutes of damage from that target with my fleet. I wish I had checked the actual damages ships were taking more often so I could micromanage it a little better. And I could, if ship number 2 had more damage, I would move the 5th ship slightly forward for that 2nd, and then ship number 4 forward for the 3rd Juggernaut X, or is it just a regular Juggernaut? I don't know at this point. So those ships would just have slightly less, I could just move them forward a little bit more, and take less damage, have that spread across the fleet. I wish Kixeye would just fix that targeting to make all ships just target everything equally, if that makes sense. They have the King Killer, that would work too, just target the highest health ship. That would be a good mechanic to see in this target, so damage was spread out evenly, but of course Kixeye doesn't like that because it means we have to go back and spend time repairing, which, you know, isn't our favorite thing to do. We don't like to just sit here and watch fleets repair. Let's take the Kixeye fleet out, which I have labeled riots. Don't let that don't let the riot fleet distract you, annoy you, whatever. Now let's find the 124 again. I don't want to hit a 126. I'm going to blind auto a 124 with the Kixeye fleet. See how much damage it takes, because that could be either really high or really low based on what I had here. It might just be like a really easy raid if you can just auto 124s for this low damage. And here we go. Let's see it. It's going to stack up a little bit, and let's zoom in. I think some drones will start spawning and getting some damage off, because these ships do have the drones, yes? Yeah, of course they do. We just saw that. I couldn't quite remember. We are in range of the ammo carrier for this first one, which means that the special ability, the proto ammo, is working. and it is taking noticeably longer to kill, and you can see some drones got some shots off here. This means more of my things damage, or I am taking more damage. A lot on ship number 1 here, and even you can see that the enemy is moving in here a little bit. And maybe the ammo carriers will get some damage off too. Looks like by default it's targeting the ammo carrier, which is not what I want. I wanted to shoot at the Juggernaut. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Oh, that's a horrible auto. Why? Come on. Come on. That sucks. They design their target and they force you to take more damage on auto. You can't even auto this target without getting hit by explosive damage. Come on. That should be changed. That should be tweaked around. This ammo carrier should be killed after the Juggernaut. It's not really... That makes it almost impossible to really auto for low damage, unless you just want to hit a whole bunch of them before you go to bed or whatever. Before you log off for 12 hours, 8 hours. Next ammo carrier is targeted directly, which is good. Target that. Next Juggernaut is targeted directly. Target that one instead of the ammo carriers. And this one will go down before it gets hit by any of the drones come towards me. I think that's because the 2 ammo carriers may be faster stealing or something. Not 100% sure on that one, but it did look like it. Maybe being in range of 2 ammo carriers is better than 1. But that middle Jug-X, that makes it really hard to auto this thing. Even this one, because I'm going to be shooting at this ship, and then after that's dead, then the Jug-X, not even in range of my proto ammo. This is not a very nice target to auto. I don't know. What do you think about this? Now, watch the torpedoes. You can see that they are decreasing and they're getting shot at. Every single one is getting shot at. They're not all stopping because you miss, but the anti-torpedoes do work. That's kind of cheeky. You give us a free fleet, but then make the auto target harder to do with that free fleet, and also harder to do in general, because the pathing is just ever so slightly off for that second one, and then the fourth one is completely off. That's cheeky. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, the first thing I would test for Kixeye on your auto target is your free fleet on auto. Then test an upgraded U3 fleet on auto. If that behavior is desired, keep it in there. If it's not, I would consider tweaking that, changing it out, so the target's a little easier. But I can drive that target for very low repair with my fleet, not complaining about that at all. Kixeye fleet on auto, what's this going to be? Let's see, 45? All concussive, really. Did that mean that explosive damage didn't hit me or what? Because I did see it fire from this first couple from the first couple drones. 52 minutes damage, mostly on ships 2 and 5. Well, that's not horrible. I mean, you're autoing the target, what you really expect. You could drive it for at least half that, if not an improvement. Yeah, I think you steal ammo based on the ammo field gives it to you. You don't, like, your steal rate is for each individual aura, so if you're in 2, you're going to have better results. Got some Conqueror fleets fixing. Now, if I were to make a change to these different ships here, I wouldn't really bother with changing the armor around. It seems too little, too late. It could be worth to change this open water warfare battery for the limited impact overdrive. That's probably the first change, if not the only change I would bother making to this fleet. It's not a bad fleet whatsoever. It's pretty good, especially as far as Kixeye's builds go. I would just change that for impact overdrive if I were doing it with only tokens, only Mutineer tokens. If you have other tokens, you should be saving them instead for the Gladius, Everest, whatever you're using. I wouldn't make any changes if you're going to spend physical shipyard time on it, or even raid points if you just got this free fleet. Well, let's go find the 126 and see how bad that can be. My evade depends a little bit on the main fleet. I believe it's about 60%. Could be a little bit different. I'll show you again after the battle, just because I'm already on map. I don't want to go back to base. But it is the fifth ship is higher. First and fifth ship is higher because of that the older armor that has higher evade than the middle three. Let's see, 126 probably depends the angle I want to enter at, and again, you do have 1 minute to do the battle, and I guess I should give my thoughts on that 124 target. I'm not a big fan. It could be much more auto-friendly. I mean, the 124 should be more auto-friendly, especially with the free fleet, even my fleet. It's not bad. There's nothing moving around. It's mostly not moving, so it's not very fun. It's average. That's all I have to say about that one. Let's refocus our attention now, shifting to the 126. The angle you enter at does matter. It looks like I have 2 battle cruisers in here instead of 1, so that's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to have to try and kill those first. I wonder if they'll be moving at the very start of the target. We'll see. And there is supposedly a chance to have these battle cruisers be different. Oh, look at that. The updated fire rings. You can see them now. I have projectile explosions on, so I have the explosion there. But you can actually see the damage that the things are doing. You can see the rings. Fantastic. Thank you, Kixeye. That's a great change. That's like the #1 complaint I had about last raid, and it looks like it's fixed. They're still a bit small, so if it lands directly on top of me and I have projectile explosions off, it's going to be hard to see. I wish these rings popped up before they started doing damage, if that makes sense. Let's sneak around, tag this battlecruiser from the back. Are you serious? Did I not get that? Ah, come on. Okay, got me. That battlecruiser got away. So we're going to have to see where he's going. If I don't just retreat and try again. You can't come across directly from behind. You have to come out an angle. So let's see if I can get a little bit closer. I can't believe that got away. I'm going to retreat. I'm not going to retreat because I got caught. Okay, there we go. Slowed down. Come on, killed it. Perfect. I did take a little bit of damage. I think I got hit by one of these golden fire rings. Not sure what to call those. Fire rings. And as soon as the one spawns, the second one comes in. These are very bright. Well, Kixeye actually listened to us. That's good. Apparently there is a chance in this target of one of these ammo carriers being replaced by Typhoon, or one of the Typhoons being replaced by an ammo carrier or something. Not quite sure. Oh, we're in range of that Typhoon. That's not great. Battlecruiser first, please. That one down. Then the drones. I messed up a little bit here. Press the 0 key to reset and target the closest 5 ships. Messed up a little there. I haven't figured out the optimal pathing for that. You probably want to come in about this angle right here from this corner, and then shoot at things from that way because the battlecruisers move directly towards you. This is a tricky one for sure to get the perfect line on. Gonna try and get this next Typhoon. 2 of the ammo carriers in range. Oh, there's another one on the side. Well, there's a lot of these things in this target. Come on. I don't want to kill that other one yet. Okay, Typhoon. Is this number 4? It's being shot at, and I was in range of the ammo carrier, but now I'm not. Tricky. This is a tricky target, tricky path. It seems a little bit hard to get it figured out first, but I guess I shouldn't have it all figured out on the first hit, because this is obviously my first time seeing these targets. So maybe it will be a bit easier. I'm not quite sure I like the random mechanic of these targets spawning in like this. Interesting. And you see all this random projectiles on the enemy. If I go to my effects and my settings, then my effects, and turn particle effects, let's see, projectile explosions off, that won't happen. But then when the rings spawn in, the fire rings, you don't see that explosion like a mortar landed, which is really the only way you can see it if it lands directly on top of your ships. Well, that's not a bad target. I think I just drove it poorly. It was a bit complicated. We do have 2 battlecruisers with no way to really get to them. So that is an issue. I did take some explosive damage from the drones or the fire rings, can't quite tell. 31 minutes damage. You know, that isn't bad. Like that's not a bad result, but it could be better. You saw I messed up a few times there, didn't have an optimal path. 31 minutes damage is pretty close to 25. So my U3 fleet, average upgrade U3 fleet, should be able to take that thing down for 25 minutes, instant repair, if I can improve just on a handful of things. Let's answer my evade question now. Let's see, the defenses. That's attack. Defense. Evade on the 1st and 5th is 72%, and then evade on the middle 3 is 61%. So an 11% difference in evade. Let's see if there's anything that I can repair. I don't want to spend, I'll spend a few minutes repairing that flagship. And let's bring out the next fleet, the free Kixeye fleet. And I'm gonna go hit that same thing one more time with the same target, one more time with the Kixeye fleet, see if I can improve whatsoever. And after that, we'll hit the 909 co-op target. But I'll do that by myself, you know, because I'm just that good. Or I pull up a second computer and drive right-handed with one fleet, then left-handed the other fleet. I entered in the wrong spot on this one, didn't I? Just do a co-op with yourself. Okay. There's a lot of typhoons in here. Well, I think I'm going to have to try and grab this one right here from a little bit from the side, not like I did last time. Maybe even you want to use a gearheads or fear the Splitzer crew in this thing to grab that a little bit more quickly. Gonna approach from the side this time, swing around a little bit. I'm clicking. Ah, come on. Well, I missed that first one. Let's see if it comes back whatsoever. I'm trying that again. I was clicking in the middle of the target, my ship wasn't turning. Or I'm just bad. One of those two. Still have the blitz on the target, so oh well. If you mess up, you know, no damage taken, no harm, no foul. And the target, same configuration as before, right? Looks like everything's turning towards me. I can't quite tell. Are they moving to some random position? Okay, come on. Get him. Get him. Ah, it's the U0 fleet's too slow. I can't get the battlecruiser. Should I go for this one first? Yeah, I want a battlecruiser that fast. Come on, come back. I don't want to shoot at the ammo carriers too much. Come on. Come on. It's okay. I'm just gonna shoot you. Oh, he knows what he's doing. He's just staying away. Why is it so hard to get to it? I'll figure out a path. This is a difficult target. Okay, let's stay right the way away from this thing. All the way around to the bottom. Okay, here we go, here we go. Here we go. See, I was clicking near that cloud again, wasn't quite getting there. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. You're down. Okay. The hard one's down. Not quite sure that that was the best angle or approach to take that on. But let's shift around to the bottom target and get this one. Again, I'm going to try and come at it sideways, emphasis on try, and avoid the ammo carriers before that. Yeah, 6 o'clock looks like it would work for that other one first, but then you'd have to... I'm really just not sure how you would get the second one, or if they're even facing the same direction both times. Do you want to... I guess you could retreat, and or just dance around the top of the target. This is if it's this difficult to drive when this thing isn't even shrouded, how bad is the 909 gonna be? That's my question. Come on. Oh, I got him. Okay, now sit right here shooting at this one. Okay, and after, try and not kill these ammo carriers. What's under? Oh, there's an ammo carrier under the Typhoon. Come on, why are you two on top of each other? Okay, I don't know if I have to move away here. I'm gonna have to move away. Most of the damage from your U3 fleet will come from your proto ammo, by the way. The weapons and your free fleet, your U0 fleet, the proto ammo is really the most powerful aspect of this one. It's just not quite good enough without it. The damage is too low from the regular weapons. It's just a little bit too difficult. So you have to really use the proto ammo. Well, that should be better. I should have taken less damage. I only messed up and took it from the torpedoes there, which wasn't even that bad. Like, I wasn't in the range of the torpedoes for too long, any more than normal time. It did take me a while to kill those battle cruisers, as y'all could see. But I got it down. Let's say we have the 909 target next. That's going to be the fun one. Okay, anything else? Just the clouds left in this target. And I think these clouds, they're positioned like they're different each time, but they don't move. I guess that's okay. So thoughts on the 126. It seems hard. The damage seems okay, especially with my upgraded fleet. The damage seems okay. But it seems hard. Like, it's 2 battle cruisers, no clear entry point, too much time to actually drive it. If I hit like 10 of these targets a day, it seems like it can get a little bit boring, right? Well, 52 minutes damage up to 1 hour 13. That's 21 minutes damage with the U0 fleet. Of course, that's not instant repair because most of it was on chip 4 there, which went up to a lot higher damage taken. But, you know, that's 21 minutes damage with a U0 fleet. On the second hit on the target, no crew. It's not bad. Well, I've got one more target to hit. Let's see. 909. I'm going to see how much I have left to instant repair or to long repair after I do this thing. Or we can take the Kixeye fleet in first. That'd be a nice change. We're not really doing a scientific match pairs experiment here now, are we? Okay, the middle 3 there were instant repair from that one. The flagship just has a lot of repair on it, and the last one did have one whole minute. I think we'll have to take in the Kixeye fleet first. That's got 6 minutes left. And this one here has that same amount left. So let's use the Kixeye one. And cruise for Mutineers, that's a good question there, Steve. Obviously, although the Siren is probably good, you know, but that's not anything I can recommend. The 1-star Sea Serpents are good because they add evade and turn speed's always nice. So Sea Serpents are pretty good. Steelheads are okay too because they do give concussive defense, which is mainly what you're taking. So evade and so sea serpents and steelheads are good ones, as is maybe, I'm not sure how well the critical chance would stack up here, what critical chance you already have on your fleet. This one with the older weapons has a critical chance of 30%, so increasing that might be okay. The Deadeye Destroyers, that is a rare one. Molotov Maidens is an option to do more splash damage, as is a few that I don't have. The 1-star Salty Dogs are really good. They increase all Forsaken ships reload, and this is a Forsaken ship, the Mutineer. So if you increase its reload speed as well as turn speed with a 1-star Salty Dog, that's a really good option, and that's most of what I was doing last raid. Although at this point, I think I'm going to be using more Sea Serpent Steelheads over the Salty Dogs. Let's take our 1 hour 14 minute damage Kixeye fleet into a 909, the free fleet that we all just have, into a 909, and see how bad it is. Hoping not very. And I believe this one will have waves of some sort and a lot of shrouding, so this is going to be a fun target. 80 seconds to go into this battle, so maybe we can look around a little bit and just see really how bad everything is. Or I mean how good. Yeah, no problem. Okay. This is why we have the 80-second loading time, because it takes 80 seconds to get into the target. I don't have high hopes after seeing the 506 in the last raid. See, it took 40 seconds to get into the target. Okay, we have some Juggernaut X's, some Battlecruisers. Battlecruiser 1, Battlecruiser 2, 3, 4 Battlecruisers. So you get to kill those first. And I'm entering from, okay, it looks like where I entered from is safe from the 3 o'clock position, at least for this time. So let's click go. And Battlecruisers are shrouded. All the Battlecruisers are shrouded. That's fantastic. That's not fantastic. I thought way more things were going to be open to start out with. And the clouds are moving, of course. Not quite as bad as last time, and you have more room to maneuver. But come on, I don't want to play keep away from these holes for a minute before they unshroud. I thought the Battlecruiser, at least one, would be unshrouded already. I can't... Oh, there's one in the middle that's unshrouded, so I'm supposed to chase in there and kill that one first? Or are they just going to unshroud over time? By the time I get into that middle target, everything's going to be chasing around me. And you have to know when they will despawn, because they're going to start running away if you're close. Let's zoom out a little. See if I can't path. I'm going to have to path in there. Hopefully this ammo carrier doesn't go down, because it might be useful, might be needed for something later. I have to get this one from the other side too. Well, that Jug X is gonna hurt me. Yeah, that Battlecruiser ran away. Oh, the Jug X isn't healed by the Battlecruiser. Well, that would be different. That means you can kill a few things here. You can kill the Jug X's with no problem. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought, and we have the 2 on either side starting to unshroud. Okay, that's not bad. I'm just gonna have to... Oh, I want this moving one. Where did you come from? Is this Pac-Man? Can you go off one side of the screen and appear on the other? Because that's cheating. Okay, that's not bad. It just isn't really apparent when they do unshroud, so maybe I'll have to zoom out all the way and rewind and slow motion and everything to see what happens when. Let's, I guess we're going to kill this ammo carrier to get through the Battlecruiser. I don't really want to take the damage from it moving close, and then the clouds are moving in, so hopefully that won't snag me. There we go. Come on, slow you down. Slow you down. Kill you. Kill you. Oh, don't you think you can get away? You're not getting away. There we go. Okay. 2 more left. And you can kill a Juggernaut X without killing the battlecruiser. So that's not bad. I was worried at the very beginning here. It looks like it's fewer clouds, or at least the cloud density is lower than last raid, which I'm really happy about. I don't get massively overwhelmed by them anymore. Ooh, see, there's a golden ring. I could hardly tell that I went under it. Okay. Come on. Come on. Kill this one. I took an extra few... I took some extra damage from the Typhoon there. And I'm just going to sit here and kill these drones, because that should make the Typhoon stop spawning them. I do not want to kill this ammo carrier. Stop shooting at him, please. Then two more battlecruisers, and I can kill the Typhoons. And you can kill the Jug X's too now if you want. So I guess the first minute should be killing the Jug X. The second to 7th minute should be killing the battlecruisers. And then... Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. This is a tricky target. Again, the top level, most challenging target in the raid shouldn't necessarily be exactly figured out the first hit. But I was worried about this upon seeing it, reading the forum post, but I think this mechanic could turn out to be fun. Because, being able to kill something when the target starts is good. I was just hoping it would be a battlecruiser instead of a Jug X. It's a challenging target for sure. It isn't easy, but it's doable. And that's what I want. Come on. Come on. I need to turn projectile explosions back on so I can see these things. Okay, all those are down, just some ammo carriers left. Let's start killing some Typhoons. And not their ammo carriers. Okay, I almost killed you, but I didn't. Because again, the U0 fleet that I'm using here really, really relies on these things. And we can probably zoom in a tad or two more. That's more zoomed in than I want. Okay, I just killed that other one, unfortunately, but there's still one in range, so that's not bad. I'm taking quite a bit of damage on... What? Oh, woo. That's a lot of damage on ship 5. I really wish these Typhoons had that King Killer mechanic, where they always shoot at the ship with the highest health. That would be my second biggest issue this raid. Although Kixeye sees that as a win-win, so... Because they see they can get away with lower damage and force us to coin or spend time repairing, etc. Well, I can't speak for Kixeye. I don't know that they see it as a win-win. Okay, this target I'm killing not by anything else. This Typhoon. So it's going to take longer to kill it. Let's see if I can't sneak out my highest health ship furthest forward. And I think I lost my 5th ship. Well, that's disappointing. This is a very long target to complete. I'm just realizing this now. I'm not sure I really want to hit this thing all that often. I mean, I think it's more fun than the 124, 126. It's just taking a while to actually complete it. And I want to see if I can get in range of a proto ship here. Sound like a broken record, always saying that all the time. Okay, the golden rings are perfect. Like, that's like... I think it was a lot of work for them because they couldn't make the change very easily. At least that's what I was told, but the change was made, so... And remember, I was at an hour and 13 minutes before I did this battle, so This repair isn't quite as bad as I think. It's only about half of this. If that makes sense, like I was already halfway damaged. Let's turn projectile explosions back on. Let's turn them both on. I don't remember what they were. And by the way, if you're curious, I am playing on HTML5. Kixeye says my computer is not good enough to play the game. It's good enough to play it, stream it at the same time. Hopefully no interruptions for people. I did have a stream a few raids ago. I think it was my Wi-Fi. Things were a little bit wacky. But things to be working pretty well here. HTML5 is stable for me. So I've been playing 99% of my game time on that one. Just if people care or are curious. And I am using the Opera GX browser. I'm not sure it actually performs better than anything else, but it is maybe a placebo effect. I think it does, or I just only use this browser for Battle Pirates, and that's the reason. All the memory, everything goes just to this one game. I don't even read the forums on this. It's only for playing the game. So I can still average 25 frames per second here, doing completely fine. Well, thoughts on this target? I think it could be fun. It seems to take too long to complete it. Maybe that's the fault of the shrouding. Maybe that's the fault of it so spread out. I wish it was a shorter time to actually complete the thing. That seems to be my main complaint from this thing. Damage taken, concussive, explosive. A lot of concussive evaded or shot down. Some explosive from what? Was it still running over the rings? Was it the drones? One of those two. And I got the full points for this thing. I'm not sure what they're talking about, I didn't actually check to see if I needed to kill certain ships to end it early or not. Maybe you don't need to kill those typhoons or the ammo carriers or something to end this target, but I killed everything that I needed to. If you do get fewer than 1 million points, keep in mind you have to kill everything in the target, if I didn't already say that. I'm not going to hit it with my Mutineer fleet right now. That still has like a minute of fixing or whatever. I think I've shown you what I wanted to in terms of the target, had fun with it, and just a general idea how to complete it. If you've got any questions on videos, whatever you want to happen that you want to see, I do all these to help the community, so if you in the community have questions, I'll do to get answers. Mainly do them for entertainment and then helping you take less damage. Most of these PvE raid videos are for helping you take less damage. And well, of course, I already have my Gladius build idea on the list, and we'll see what prizes and stuff end up being good. But thank you everyone for the support, for dropping in here. Really means a lot. And if you have questions, like I said, more than happy to answer those right back to you. Anyway, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.